Ken. We're running a little bit further ahead of time than I expected, but that's okay. We'll just go ahead and begin to get things rolling here. So, Ken gives spiritual guidance, and he's a healer who, after a profound near death experience, has integrated 22 soul aspects from his higher self and oversoul collective into his physical self. This union has allowed him to channel higher frequencies so he can transmit powerful ascension and healing codes for humanity. He does this through light language, which is channeled from his collective. Through this integration, he has a 580-foot multi-directional healing field that prompts accelerated healing and spiritual growth for those who interact with him. During his sessions, clients have found transformations by helping them release energetic blockages to balance their energy fields and activate their higher consciousness. Through Ken, he is able to unlock dormant DNA blueprints, accelerate spiritual growth, and help others to awaken their unique gifts. In this holographic field, Ken is able to connect with what he calls the library of creation. This facilitates the release of dense energy programs that are a root cause of discomfort to empower his clients. So much. Okay, so today Ken is not only going to talk about his journey and what he does, but he's also going to do a session for us. How exciting is that? Let's bring him in. Hey, Ken.
Hey, how are you?
I'm great.
Good, good.
So I'm just going to go ahead and hand this over to you. And I'm going to pop out of here and I'll let you talk to everyone today.
All right. Thanks very much. I'm excited to be here. A lot of things happening in my world, and I love it when I get to show up and share with everyone. So
Right.
today won't be a lot of talking. Today will be a lot of light language activations. I'll give you a brief background of my story, and in full disclosure, I'm over caffeinated right now. So that being said, the light language will probably be pretty intense at times. But here we go. So I had an opportunity to sit down with my collective and talk a little bit, what do they wanted to say. So here we have, so our consciousness continues to expand for each and every one of us. It happens in ways that we are not always consciously aware of, as I can attest to. And today I'll be sharing my story of my consciousness expansion. And then my team and I will provide you light language activations to accelerate the expansiousness of your own consciousness. So in 2018, I was selling my third cybersecurity company. I'm a self-taught entrepreneur with no background or real exposure to any spirituality, any religion, or even the idea of consciousness. And just 2 years before that, I was diagnosed with a pituitary brain tumor that during the time of my acquisition was creating lots of pain in my head. And I was actually passing out with my eyes wide open. Now, my life at that time consisted of very long work days, super intense stress, high quantities of energy drinks, and the highest prescribed dosage of ADHD medicine just to keep me focused and moving through the day. It was a really, really intense time in my life. So I share this background because as I moved through my journey, please recognize in your own life when things feel impossible, it might just be the very thing that catapults you to your own new awareness of consciousness. So the result of the combination of the stress and the brain tumor created what I call the most undescriptive, let's say non-exciting NDE that lasted just a few short minutes on a random day where I was incredibly angry with my business partner. Simply stated, I found myself lying down during the afternoon after a big argument with the business partner, and at that moment, I hit the bed. My body was filled with electricity, and I found my body arched in the air and felt something being pulled out of my stomach. So really, that's it. So what I mean by that, there is no visuals of me traveling to the other side, no epiphanies. No, I didn't see my body in the room, and I didn't have any miracle healings. In fact, I didn't realize it at the time, but what had happened is that one soul had walked over into my energy field. So the way I explain it is the idea that With the NDEs, the tunnel opens, people travel to the other side, they have the conversations, they have the experience. But imagine it shifting to the idea of the tunnel opening, but one came over into my field. And that's where my journey began. So I woke up, and within that day, I was Googling what had happened to me. And you could say that this was the little tiny snowball that began rolling down the mountain, picking up speed and size as I began expanding. So I was obsessed with learning about all aspects of spirit and consciousness. And I had no real understanding at the time while I was doing this, but things did unfold very, very slowly for me. Right? As the days and weeks passed, right, and the months passed, I found myself going down rabbit hole after rabbit hole, trying to understand why I was suddenly drawn to this topic. Now, remember, I was a logical mind of 27 years, a programmer, right? Everything had to be logical. And now suddenly, I'm interested in the unexplainable, the intangible, trying to wrap logic around it. So at some point, I got tired of reading. Right. And as I learned about all these things from the books, right, I wanted every gift I had read about. You know the list. I wanted to see auras, I wanted the remote view, I wanted to do psychic predictions, and even healing. It was a long list. So, knowing my impatience at this process of reading, I sought answers from QHHT sessions, psychic, tarot cards, palm readings, you name it, I tried it. Then I finally hired people to teach me the topics that I was reading about. I rapidly discovered that I could travel multidimensionally, right? I couldn't astral travel with any awareness like many of you may do in the evenings when you're sleeping. But what I could do is quickly close my eyes and set the intention to be anywhere in the universe and have an experience. I also took some healing modality out of curiosity, and I found that it was a very natural process for me. But this is not the only aspect of my story I wanted to share with you today. See, I have learned that the universe, our guides, your teams, if you will, typically have a very unique way of expanding us. For me, it was the arrival of new souls in my energy field. I have energetic angelic teams that have been assisting me in my physical body, and they were the ones that were placing that intense seed of curiosity inside of me that directed me to information, to people, to trainers, to those who would help me wake up to my mission. So it's been almost 7 years now to the day that my NDE happened. And beyond my physical appearance, there is almost nothing about me that is the same person. Yes, the same personality, but every possible preconceived belief I had about consciousness, it's been shattered. And it's not a bad thing. You could think of the idea that I shattered the old paradigm, and now I'm showing up as what I like to call the new. Or you could think of me as an energy field architect. It's a fancy branding word that simply means I have the ability, along with my team, to re-architect your energy fields. So all layers of them, and the results of these changes can be rapid physical healing in the body, right? But it's not just the physical body receiving its own definition of a miracle. I am creating and bringing in new light codes, new architecture to expand, amplify, and activate your consciousness. You could think of my team as creating a super highway of potential inside each and every person by removing what no longer serves them and opening up those energy channels with the new that turns on those gifts inside of you. It deeply connects you to your team and brings in much more awareness of who you are. And it'll even introduce you to your ET family if that's in alignment. I am currently what could be described as a soul infusion. I am Ken, but I am also part of a collective of many ascended masters, archangels, and divinity, light, if you will, that are in my physical body and the field around me. So it's difficult for me to describe what I call the configuration, but I help people understand this concept by using the analogy of a bus. The bus is full of those energies that are here to rapidly heal and move the world through the ascension process. And you can think of me as the one driving the bus at most times, but that changes when they have a job to do. When I'm in front of someone who needs assistance, like today, we switch seats and I move to the back of the bus. Now, to be clear, the bus is mine, but I do let them drive while the healing, expansion, and activations take place. And you're going to experience this in just a short little bit. So I have full control of the bus, and I'm able to witness and observe while they are driving. It's very interesting to be able to do the light language and in the back of my mind say, hey, did I do my laundry? Kind of funny things like that. It really is a shift on who's driving. See, consciousness has no limits, no barriers, no restrictions, if you will. The human body has limits, barriers, and restrictions with the amount of light we can initially hold. Now, my physical body has been altered over the past 7 years to hold this angelic divine light frequencies in every cell of my body. My team jokes around with me and calls me an enigma. And yes, I actually had to Google that. So my configuration is designed to deliver exactly what is needed for those who are in front of me, physically or virtually, regardless if it's a one-on-one interaction in a group of thousands, or yes, even on these replays. So I'd like to now give you your own unique experience. And for the remainder of my time today, my team will be working with your team to provide you exactly what you're ready for. The theme of today's healing and activations will be heart trauma release, heart opening, and the removal of trapped emotions in the body. The team will then work on the chakras to include expansion and functioning of the pineal gland and the heart chakra. They will then move into activating DNA strands that are connected to your angelic aspects and ET aspects, again, if that's in alignment with your team. So my team works very fast, and the light language I'm about to deliver can feel intense and rapid at times. So after this, I would recommend plenty of hydration, relaxation, and grounding over the next few days. So to prepare for this, it's really easy. I just want you to close your eyes and visualize a dark room. It's soft and full of love. And as you get comfortable with this dark room, I just want you to notice the stars, the universe, the galaxies, the planets, just noticing everything showing up. And for the next little bit, just relax and notice what you notice in that beautiful room. And we're going to begin here. We're going to start with some heart opening. Koreano tiata kia ni shini diete natari koto shiko ne te poyoto kore mapa eniata niati ni kini shiki tiata tiako koro le tari natari yata ti shi ti ti koto to dia pa yono chama kia ki okushuro Kaya tia shari alario no tia shara katia natana tati shikitia notorio shukutori notere notere natari kati ti kotoria natari te shige dio shuria sartoria mapaya no tere ni shiri natara tari ni shikediria to shono to te shikata makona to shiniata anata tiata neti ti shikutoria. Again, they're just reminding us we're working on the heart right now. Kaliatari na komoyo no te akali atari di shiete katotia mapiyoko shikapaya papyoko. Shalali atani atani shia natayati shikiti atari atari to shurukudo. Mumomio mopio mama eka moko niaka alakari shuriodorio. Again, they move pretty fast. I'm just going to work on removing some trauma. Shikatori di tekanota da de tiketano to get to the pakotoka arakare and the chickadee and Tokoratori denta de shikati in the tadi tikoto kuchkotoria particoda de Dikoria Pecaria. Nitaria Shatia Shiko Shokomokoshka, I get Kachka, Kushko no to Shkadiata, Nitishkitia Toto Notonia Papio Koshatiata, Krotoriata Nishini in the Soticotoria did Shkatin to the Nuchini to the Mapapabia. Copa Papa Coco Chetia Totia Totia Shitiata. Shiaka Poyoko Chokoto Kapa Ali Ini Ati Shikitia Pokosho. Kaliatatia na tokoyo mo kuto ya papayaki tiata mapo shikatiata. Shishishukumo shukushakapako shitia korara titi shidini tiria. Nititi chikidin the Nandaria naria. Kurioto mapakareneta ni titi shiriato. Now I'm going to work on removing some trapped emotions in the body. Now, trapped emotions, because it can play a considerable role in our dis-ease and unhealthiness of the physical body. Just remove this. Give me a moment. Sekitar kedua kamu tu dia cikan nanti kena tadi kau tu kedian cikan tu nampak kau tu kedian mama yang ada tadi cikan kau cerita pokok ya kau ni kau mau kau ya magi kena dah ni tu cika kia ka koko shino tori ni shini tini da chin kedian ni kedi kau dona ya mama ya dori apa yo kau cikit ke o kia kau ni apa makar kedia kau ni tu dia tadi da sini tini tu kau cikan tadi ni kau tu kau ni cika kuku buku cikan apa umubian di sini dia no reali alare di anata anisha adi ato ti akaya ko kishika o como aki akola kone di atakare ti shene ti ni tuchukundo to di mo po ma pa ke yana ani ati ni di shikitire ta ni ti tuchukundo ko di pakadari di atari atashria. The team's quite talkative this morning. We're going to continue. Pushkatono to ninda pe yanda tadi ninda akala ko na ama area ko no tiendo chikiti na ako ko ba ando ko na chikiti ninda chikichi no to ke sho ko papa ya ko shi ata ni ata ama pa ati ala de ti ni ako ko ni ta ni ati shi do chikuto opa ya ka ke de ti ni shiria shorla te te no ti na papa bi ku ya ki ta de ki ta chikiti ya mo ya ko ke shi atari shi to just kind of stay in that room and allow whatever to show up for you. We're going to work on clearing and expanding the energy field around you. Hold tight. Niente chiedere crotto di tarrati di ciccititoria ma poi andando di chiedendo da di doctori nata anna di charlataria ma poi charlataria nata da che c'è ma a cara quello ya bayana akoli si atu con un di no chutu no ti ma pari chi ni atini di akala con te di chickini di chikudono di colore o da aria ma poi copia si e cosciocotto. Niatia latia chishia kadinati shiniata nikatia de chikatoko ba rikata niti chikati and tornita no torikata rikati shria de netrikatia totia papa coach kutobi toriama papa bioko. Noliata ada aleshinitiri di shirikotoria that's gonna expand it now. Shialartia netia shinitia natori natakon to shutu mama ya lare ni shiri di ninta di shiri di shiketariata ala lale ni lale tishiatoria notoria nieta kalala le tishia notoria notoria ni shalata di kitati kechiti tikati shialata di toto shupo yokotoria mapakare kare. Just gonna move on to the chakras. Specifically, I'm going to work on the center pillar. And then we're going to work on the pineal gland first. Nito sotoria mapari all'aria nendire nare noria darica dia shako shaki niane tane tantisino do shorra pororati ninti rat kat konoti kar nendi chikini tadi genda take dia to shoria mo pa ko kenta tate tadi de ko mo pio no dia shikti ko mo ko da kapaka da kreti ke dikata no tuchi do to nenda tate keneti ke chukada ba proto ke dia srat ninti ko to mo pa no tina tani ti shiria dari karira. Now we're just going to focus on the pineal. Hold on. Tanto poco fratani di c'è charlatane tari fratani di atari ni shilatane da boko la kamako ko ne bako karatane tati shilatata katati atadara. Things work really fast. Give me a moment. We're going to move on to the heart chakra activation. More compassion, more empathy, more love for all those and yourself coming. Mia laria kotoria nia tata te sia to kosaria te nia la le la le 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 rokole mabakala la te to sia karia dare rataria daria te shire koto mukushaka mapapa katia tania tono shorio dorio. Can go ahead and just connect the star, the earth. Give me a moment. Move them really fast. Now I'm going to move on with some activations regarding your star families. So those of you that are ready for this will receive. And those of you who are not in alignment, it's okay, just sit tight. Your team has you. We're going to start with the Pleiadians. Shalariania konya kamarai ke kokushakonia ayanta enyati kelele de anantono tono shiata mapoko shokotia koyaka kalala te anata ni te chikoto to dia papio to ni tie le shiato ko shurio momo ya no ni na momo ya no na ro ko shakota ki ni di shikdia kele ke de kana ta ke ne te shini to shikotoria papa kada ke ti ko to dia te shalalia tie Laria momo yo no ni na mama ya na no ni enta de ni shiata kala laria to shiga shoko ya ni no ni na ni ri shiati ki ata ko ya na dia poko to ke to dia te shikidia ta poko to ke ti katari ti da rato to shidoria ma poi ko no to rio chikotori ko donde ta dia ta ti ko chikotori ma papa ya ka shiriata. We're going to move on to the Octarian. Shkapakutushu no te ama poko ne to ni to ko te ama pake aka o ko shoko ko ya ke aka akolo ko no oshi ni aka ke ne ti ni tani de ala ka to ni chikotori ma pi ti di na ta ke ta de ni to sharo ti ta de na te ala ti to shorioko Niala ni aga na da shako ya bombo yoko yoke ya tani ni tani na ya la le ni shini ni no ya ko mo ya la ni no de ni shiato yo no de na ya ga mai da ya go sho ni ati ke na ya la kan ya ko ni ka ko yin di shiko no de pokola kola le chi shi ti ni a o no do yo no ama ya ka Ni solo no dore de ya mama ya nani ni la tia la le dia lo shukoto shoto tia papaya ki tia ta anna moyo no tia. Move on to the Andromedan. Paya doke akia shaka ya kia naki o ko kia na kome o ko yo kia na kaya ni aya si ano to lo ko shaka ya kaya o ko maka kia kaya si ni di si ni ato te shuto ko no to ni ta kia ta ya shaka ya to ya ka shako no to ni te ne ta mo po yo ko to di tari ni o shu ko do dia pa ko le ka ma po ko ka kia le ti la le ti ta si no to no te ama pa ni ka ko ba yo ka ni ni shoko no ni na te ni di to de ta ti shelia no ko shoko de apaka ni tari ni te de shkini ta ma papa ni ka ma papa ki ka ko shela ka no ti shi ni di ta te di na tari ata ni di shoko to mo po yo ka papa papa ni ata ni ti ele shikiti to ko no to de te no to de te yende ta te ata pa ko ma pa ara ko shoko Mulio no te ana tariki to pako maka ke akala kaniata ni kaneti kaniata do to te ako ko ke aka ya si aka ya ka ko ne ama papa ko ya ka ke nata ni te ne te ala re te chiko do no te tata te ka o ko me aka re ka o mo shiko no ko ni aka re te aka ya ni aka ya na te aka ni ke ni ako to te ko ne papa aki aka ko te si ni to ko do te papa e ke aka ne ta ni ti si ti atari ata te ata shiko to. Move on to the Lyrian. And again, these are only for those who are ready to receive. Just relax. Shatayana to shoku miyakama piako papa piako pa akio. Koyendo te to te akaya ke no no te go shoro ko tori no te chiti ata pakiataria. Ni ti ata achiako kokyo kapa kareka ani aka akoka ni aki aka ni aki ni ai si na ti ni ata ko moshuko. No to yosho to di to apapa ki ni ti ata ni ala ka li si ni to ko don do sheni ata mama me ni te lori ato papa yoko papa yaki kadanta ni ka ako moko to ni te di ata ka ari ata ni ti do do ya sha papa yoto no ya no ma aya ka ikishi ki kala le ti na aya ka shi ni te ke aka to ti na ki ni ti ata ti ni ti to ti ka papa yokara papa ku yoshoko no to yoshoko to ka pa aya ki ka ya ti ki ni te le ni ti no to yoshoto ri aka ya lo to yo no ma ki ko pa ki kyo no ko ro ni ti na ya ta ni to do shi ata ko pa ka papa ko ni ta ma pa ki to yoshoko to ko ni ta re ti na ka ya ni ti to te shaka ni ka ai ki shi to ri apo. Move on to the Syrian. Shoto ya no ya moya ni ya ti ya kaya ni ya shoku yo na ya baya kaya no to ya ka shake ya ni ya ta ya shono shoku no shoku to ondo te papa ya ka ya ti ala ti ala li ti to mo bio to chi no ti ala ti ta ni shi ti ko to ya ka ya ti ya ni ta ya shi ka ya to shi ondo to ti ya papa ko to. Ma'amu mo yoko kia ka papa kia sia ko yoko kia ka paka ya ka ko shediata nara to shori to ti chiti shikotori mo po yoko. Move on to the mantis. And again, these are only for those who are ready to receive. Ki ako kenda kaya kishi ko apa ka kishi ni ti no te so lariana aulo shio como ya kaya dia lorio to pia ki to koto ya tia ka papa ko no ti shi no torini to di torni mami ne la ya di laria shokuria olia laria ni laria to ya pa shi ne ki shi ko ya ko ka pa aki ko ti ko pa ko la alia ka ki shi ni di to loria naria ne de chicken to dia ma pa ko ya to ti sharia taria loria ni kashiki kidu pa makone ana ni ata ni ka ne ki ni ti dia lo shin no ni mami no ma papa yo pa kaya ka ki ko yo ka ya ti te ka to ko to ri ti ki dia kare tari ka ko to ri ni ti ko to ri ti shikini ti ro ko to ri ma papa ya ko ki ka pa ka ya ka la ka da ni aka ya ti aka ro to chi ni ata ka sheto. We'll move on to the final one for those who have the Orion lineage. Hold on. And then we're going to move into DNA. As I mentioned, things go pretty fast with this team. We're going to move on to working on the DNA strands. We're going to start at number 3, and we're going to go through 12. What this will do is unlock, give you access to the more view, and will all show up differently. These do take time to realize. So give yourself plenty of hydration again, right? Here we go. Let's start with number 3. And again, there's nothing you need to do, just relax into all of this. Just take a breath. The team's going to move into number 4. Ayako no kishkani aki akale kini aka ikini kani kini akini tini ati ati ne tini 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 ta tini 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 shoto tino ta ima onde yata digata ni ta ani dishikoto niete de nete ni anda ke da kar kini tini tini tiko to nete di na te ta di ne to de ta ni no bano to di ande de chikini ta kini tini kini ta kini te ko don ya pare ka dar ke de kini chikino ko no to de de ato to chete ti ti de chikdo di no to ne ma papa yete ta ti chikdo to no pare ata igniti di da ti chikdo to de ne ta di chikino to papa ke ti ko to ta karoto ke di ata ti chikti ke to. Taking a breath. And move on to 5. And again, there's nothing you need to do, just relax. Nyato shakaya kaya ka koko kia ka tiata ya ka shanya ako ko mo ko aka ki aka leki ni ati ni da teji ako ki no to ni aka ko ni aka ko pioto ni to ti anara ti ni to ko to no ta ma po ko la ya ta ki chikdo mo pio no to ni ati ni da ko to ti ni ati ata ti chikidia no to ko to te ma pa mai ni ya ta ni chi no to kodo te ta tarea te chikidi ta ti na ti shilore no papa te ta ako ya kaki kalia ai ki shaka aka ki kuku chichi te kata di chikidi kuto to ya parko to shoya. Move on to number 6. We're going to move on to number 7. take a breath. Move on to DNA number 8. Ayanoto yakayako yako yakayako yako yono yanieta amapoyo koryondo. Kalehaki yanaka yako lokonoti niti shiniti niapa ayakia niata. Kolyoko tudyoto kiyandati tatiana papako toto tekinetale shioto. Mo'oko ko'okiata niata niti di shakata korokoto to shirito. Ma'akia ko ukoki and the kinetaki and the to no to do tiata papa yoto to diata akalakitishi. Nushkudo nitudukama papa yaki kikanetini di ata pakoto. They're moving fast. We're moving into number 9 now. Kapaku yoko ko yaka 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 kyoto ineti aka okosho mi aka ayaki kiata iti no ti aka aishi no to ko yapa ayaki naka koko tu yati atati ni tela ni to ti ata mapoko kole amapa ayaki aka kiake ni to ti ala ti ata to shu to yanda ta kiati ni sineti ni ati ni tadi anata ato koto yana papa di dieta ti shikoto ama papa ya ka kukushia dia niata ni ti siniata ni ka ni te ni ko shirko no to ko ni papa ke no ko no to neta ma pishikoto no to dia ta ni ti siniata no to ni ro pero to na ta ni to ti no ti ta ti le shi no to ya ma ko so. Moving on. 10. Eshata eto eshako eshaki ake sheki esheti ato okoto papioka papa aki aka aliati niti kunoto no to shono te ma papa piaka kaliate niti chkiniata niata niti to baba rekoto niata niti to yata niti chkoto to yama pokoto to chinia alayata ania komoko kolokolo yato atiato no to mapa aki ikishino ko papa koreato no to no ta nakala ti na din ta anata na ta ni ta ni ti do no to ni ta ka ni ka no ama pa ya kala ka ti kaya ta ni ko no to ni do ka ni da ama ba ko shi ti da ta ti ta shi no to de mo yo shoto ka papa ya ki ka papa yo no to ka yo to pa ka. Moving on to 11. Shalati ato de chikato ya pa ya ka na ka ya ko shko nyan de ka ya to no to ya ta pa ko to no to yo to ta to cha pa ka la de ka ko pi to ni ta nya ka ya ko to ni ti chkini to no to ma pa ki to ta de ti to ni ti chkiti ya ma ya to ya o to to adi ta to o ka ati ni ti chkiti to to ya ni ti chkemu ko ma pa ki ka ko Shkoto, no to ti aka ke si ti ata ni ta ni to no to ma papa ke to ti ta to bari adna ta shkoto ri to ga nan de na to ri papa ya ke shi ti sheri to ti ne to no to ri pa ke shi ki no to. All right, folks, we're on the last one. We've already gone almost an hour here, seems like. Hold on a moment. Shaliato no to koya mapako teato koleotoria ni ti ta papa laria naki eshio koleana pe laria nati te dalia ta ni ti shikoto kudu di pa korioka kalio loria laria liti aloko ma aikoshu ni ti anate ana ni ni tuchkoria mama yoko kokoshi kikia tiata koshirio torio. All right, folks, you can come out of that, so open your eyes. As they say, wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers. Moshotoni my body. My team delivers rapid acceleration in your own evolution. I do these Wednesday group events where we work every Wednesday on different parts of the physical healing, the emotional healing with different themes. And then I have an event coming up in Fort Collins. It's on my website, but I believe it's February 8th. And there'll be other additional events as well. But Shauna, back to you. I need to take a break here for just a moment. Whew. You're muted. There you go.
All right.
Oof.
Let's see here. All right. I'll put myself back in here again. That was a lot, wasn't it?
It was a lot, and I felt a little off today. My voice was a little crackly. I had way too much caffeine, right? But it's all interesting. I mean, when they're doing that light language, I'm literally in the back of my head wondering how's my mouth moving like that, right? How does my tongue do that? I'm observing myself, and it is such the fascinating way to see life, right? And at the same time, I'm like, yeah, I got laundry to do. I got these things happening. Like, there's another part of me that's just functioning, right? While they're doing these, and I don't have a lot of insight into the light language itself as it's being delivered, right? So as for me, it's as easy as setting the intention. And when we do the heart opening, I can literally see the heart opening as the light language comes through. But how that magic works, I'm still trying to figure it out myself.
Right. I think we all are a little bit, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're doing that. I almost feel like, do you feel yourself like vibrating whenever you're having all of that energy come in? Or is it just,
we have to,
and they're coming in and you just.
Yeah, well, remember, it's already in me. Right.
Right.
So as I've moved through the last 7 years, it's kind of like they'll bump my frequency up, and then I'll have that intenseness for a week or two, and I'll stabilize, and they'll keep doing this. So the body itself and that field around me is holding that energy. So when I'm delivering it, it's no different than me talking to you right now. I don't feel it being delivered.
Right. Well, I don't know if everybody else knows this, and those that are having the recording probably won't, but those that are online live, when you first began, the energy was so intense that it actually bumped off the recording.
Is that what happened?
Yes. So the recording got bumped off, and then it came back on again.
Yeah, I didn't do it. No. But yeah, it's amazing. When I work on the one-on-one sessions, I can feel the energy then, right? Like, and I can, as it's moving, from me into them, the Christ consciousness, that beautiful, white and yellow energy as I see it, right? I can just see them lighting up, and they're feeling it in real time, of course. So that's the only time I ever really feel that happening. But my team has done a really good job in keeping me from feeling those energies. So imagine me walking into a room 100,000 people, or 100 or 1,000 people. I couldn't handle being able to sense all that. So they've kind of desensitized that.
That makes sense, because I know on my own journey, I asked them to acclimate me to the energies and stuff. So they do stuff like that to where you don't, feel it so badly. You also have another event that's coming up in May, the Light Language Conference in Colorado too,
that's
right?
I believe in Arvada, right? I don't know the exact dates. The end of May. I know that last weekend in May, right? So that's going to be exciting.
Right.
If you're there, Sheila's there, right? We're going to be having a good old time.
Exactly. So people will get a chance to do that. Something else I wanted to ask you about was, do you do private groups for people? I don't know why I was supposed to ask you that. I don't know if it's
that actually,
on your website.
People are beginning to ask for me to do these private groups, right? In addition to the Beyond Healing Tour that I'm doing here. But usually those will be virtual, right? Because unless there's a large group, with the travel and everything, doesn't make sense. But, as you listen to this, it doesn't matter if I'm in front of you or not.
Right.
Right? It's just intense. But yeah, so I actually had that happen the other day. Like, hey, can you do an event for me and my 10 friends? I'm like, well, let's have that discussion. So it's possible.
Okay. Yeah, because I could see that happening. I know a lot of people that like to have, just their friends to get together like that,
Mhm.
whether it's online or in person, if you happen to be in the vicinity, you know what I mean? Because
Should
you
we
are
call
kind
that
of
an
like a lot,
awakening
right?
party? We should call that an awakening party, right?
Right.
Let's all awaken together. Yeah, that'd be fun. Totally.
Exactly. So they can book everything on your website, right? The weekly
Yeah.
sessions and private ones.
Yeah, so you'll see, kind of paste it all over, right? KenLloydOfficial.com. If you come to the website,
Right.
sign up for the newsletter, and there's going to be a free light language audio that you can listen to, which is a clearing. It's about 6 minutes, right? But more importantly, you'll get the newsletter of all my events. And every Wednesday, I do groups, all right? And
Mhm.
what you just experienced is what you're going to experience for about 45 minutes, but we're going to focus on different areas of the body, different conditions every week, along with themes like last week was, I think, bringing in the life force, bringing more life force in, or opening you up to more of, life resources and things like that. Those themes happen all the time. Yeah, they do happen all the time. They're amazing.
Right. And I wanted to say too that during some of you guys are going to notice in a portion of his light language, not only did we have the recording that stopped and started again, but you also, it's like you faded out and all of a sudden we couldn't hear you. I want you guys to know that you still get those codes, correct? Because what it is the energy raised itself so much the microphone literally couldn't handle the energy.
Yeah.
So,
By the way, there's a
yeah.
special setting in Zoom, and I must have picked up on that, right? Because I found myself like, oh, let's get that setting. Like right in the middle of my light languages, I'm doing this. I'm over here turning on the original sound from musicians. It's a setting in there which doesn't allow Zoom to cut off anything. So it's funny you should
Ah,
mention that it actually faded out because I obviously picked up on that too,
there you go.
subconsciously. Yeah. So
Right,
thank you. Yeah.
exactly. So since everybody just had this, ascension codes and healing work and everything, all the energy that came in, can they expect some maybe symptoms that they may have after having such a healing session? What can they expect from that?
Yeah, so if you actually go to the website, under my work with Ken, there's a transformational healing protocol. And really, these are just suggestions for grounding, right?
Mhm.
Just to kind of stay in the flow and give yourself some time. You may find yourself emotionally purging. Let it happen.
Right.
Let it happen because you have no idea why you're doing that purge. But
Mhm.
this is the healing and the release. I've had other people, it's kind of a mixed bag here, right? You may not be able to sleep. You may be sleeping too much. You're going to know a disruption in your normal life processes for the next 2 or 3 days as these settle in. This is the healing. And, why we did a lot of activations today, a lot of you also received the physical healing that goes along with this. We can't actually expect you to be activated while you still have those denser energies inside the body. So we will shift those as well. And that's what the purging is about. So, by the way,
Right.
that was them talking a little bit. I know it's kind of hard to see the difference.
No,
So,
I get it.
yeah.
So that's great. Yeah, that's good to know. I know you said grounding, water's great. Um, the rest, you mentioned that.
Mhm.
I even thought about the food, and at first I was like, well, lighter foods maybe, but then again, if we're grounding, maybe a
You know,
little
I,
heavier, like a little bit of bread or pasta might be actually okay to help ground those energies down a little bit.
yeah, I mean, I usually don't talk much about, people's, dietary, you know,
Yeah,
preferences, if you will, with this. So, one of the things
right.
that I don't have is a lot of that, as I say, esoteric knowledge, right? I couldn't tell you
Yeah,
the 8 ways to ground that's most efficient for you and kind of things. And, I am a big
right.
believer in using your own discernment when it comes to that as well.
Exactly. All right. Well, is there anything you'd like to add to everything that you did today or anything you'd like to relay to people?
Uh, you know, Listen, as we move through this journey of our own healing, right, and our own growth, it's not easy, right? And it's full of so much confusion and frustration, honestly. A lot of frustration because we really want something to show up in a specific way at a specific time, right, in a way that we can relate. And I will tell you on my journey, nothing showed up the when I wanted it, how I wanted it, or even what I wanted, right?
Right.
And as you move through this, just know your team has you and go easy on yourself. right? Just go easy on yourself. It'll
Right.
show up. It'll absolutely show up.
Exactly. Well, Ken, thank you so much for joining us today. It's always a pleasure to have you on. I've
Thank
had him
you.
on some of my, well, Sheila and I were together with Ken just the other day on her podcast and everything. So you can catch him on several podcasts and radio stations and things like that too, right?
I believe so. Sheila knows more about that than we do.
Okay. Yeah.
So thank you.